Hello and welcome back, folks. Did you know that it is Summer Peltast Fest? That's right. You may have heard of like some kind of summer festival where you go and listen to music, or where it's like all you can eat shrimp or something like that. No, this is Summer Peltast Fest. So if you are looking for some nice weather and a rain, and the only rain, sorry, I should say, in sight is that of javelins from the sky, then look no further. You're in the right spot. So let's check out this battle. I'm excited for this one. We've got 3 Tarantine Cavalry. Yes, Epirus again, folks. They were in our last battle. So Epirus making a double feature today on the channel, which is probably fair because I think I had like 6 or 7 videos in a row with Carthage, but that just shows my bias. But then again, I'm not trying to hide my bias either. It's kind of built into my name. 3 Tarantine Cavalry on the other side, so a Tarantine civil war here between Pergamon and Epirus. Then up front, we're going to have some slingers, and on the other side, slingers as well. But there are some Cretans back here. You can kind of see that lighter color. They're cool outfits here. Some of them have that Phrygian cap, I think is what that is, right? Could be wrong. Anyway, the rest of them have kind of a different helmet. They're pretty cool looking nonetheless. Let's take a look at the rest of this Pergamene army. I see a line of militia hoplites, which is technically a heavy unit, which is why they got that heavier square banner. It actually calls them very heavy, but in terms of stats, these are light infantry. I think heavy is just more of a weight class for them. Then we got some Agema spears, and Agema spears are going to be like Thurio spears. And then we've got a Pergamene noble cav, and then picked peltast. Oh my gosh, 4 units of picked peltast. Holy crap, it is Peltast Fest. This is a tremendous number of javelins. Okay, that's 120-man units, 4 90-man units. And then all of them are going to be packing many javelins. Yeah, look at all the Agema spears. That's 4 Agema spear. And then picked peltast have even more ammunition. They have 10 javelins, which is crazy. I don't know how they could even potentially carry that. We got Illyrian levies here too. I could be wrong about the Illyrian levies. We'll have to watch them. They may come with a fair number of javelins too. I can't remember what makes them unique other than the axe. We do have Agrionian axemen here, where you can see they have 7 shots, which is the more standard ammunition. There's a peltast next to them. And then, let's see over here, we got the Royal Peltast General. We got a smattering of peltasts. We got all kinds of peltast here. Axe-wielding peltast, standard peltast, picked peltast, Royal Peltast. Folks, it's like Bubba Gump shrimp, right? There's just a never-ending number, and that's going to be the case today. And we got mounted peltast over here, too, pretty much, with the Tarantine Cavalry. So you take your pick. No pun intended there, I guess, because we just had the picked peltast. Anyway, yeah, we do have a Molossian dog here again, too. And in our last battle, they did some pretty nice damage. Thessalian Cavalry. So a huge cavalry advantage for Epirus. And the Pergamene Noble Cavalry, definitely a capable unit, but they're not going to be great, like, value-wise compared to the Thessalians, for instance. And then, pound for pound, they won't be as strong as something like a Hellenic Royal Cav. But those aren't here, so they don't have to worry about it. But yes, Pergamon vastly outnumbered by cavalry, so they're going to have to deal with that. Hopefully they'll do some good work with their Tarantine Cavalry, because that would come in quite handy. But they've got their work cut out for them. This is a very even fight, as the names would suggest. And then in terms of skirmish, Pergamon does not have range. They do have, I say range, the length of range for them is much shorter, but the amount of damage they can cause from range is absolutely tremendous, because these picked peltast hit with 41 damage. So again, they're not going to hit great at longer range with just the 2 slingers, but when they close the range between the 4 Agema spear and the 4 picked peltast, that is going to be a tremendous amount of missile damage potential. Whether or not it's realized, we will see. But as far as damage potential on the other side, the slingers up front are going to be kind of a nice, like, diversion almost if they get used right. The Agrionians and the Peltast can cause a lot of damage. The Cretans can also cause a tremendous amount of damage. They have 15 ammunition, I think, across... Well, they're saying 40 damage right now, so they must have switched to... Yeah, they've switched to heavy shot. I don't think they're always... Are they always 40 damage? I can't remember with the Cretans. I don't think they are. They may have switched shot, or had some kind of buff or something that changed it, at least momentarily. So the Thessalian Cavalry is out here looking for potential to help the friendly Tarantines there. I'm kind of surprised Epirus hasn't moved up to do a little poking at the formation, but they may just be trying to save their micro for the cavalry fight. So Tarentine cavalry here kind of catching the other one. You can see the Pergamene Tarentines pushing into the others, trying to draw them all into a melee, where I imagine the other Pergamenes are kind of hoping to just back off and throw their javelins into there, but now there's a full-on chase going, but the Pergamenes, oh, they're gonna get caught here. The speed was just enough. I don't know if they're gonna get caught permanently, but there was a temporary collision there. That ended up being a pretty solid play for Pergamon in terms of luring these cavalry further on and just filling them full of javelins. Would be great if they could do that to the Thessalian cavalry. I mean, the Thessalians are taking a little bit of damage here. I don't know how many javelins are left for the Pergamene Tarentines. Pergamene Tarentine, boy, that's a mouthful. All right, here comes the Pergamenes. They are going to pull the attack forward, and they kind of have to, because like I said, they're outranged in terms of distance. Militia Hoplite should make a good front unit for this. They have pretty solid shields, and they're going to be able to absorb a decent bit of missile fire. Both players are going to be absorbing an uncomfortable amount of missile fire, I would say, just based on what we're seeing here, because again, this is Summer Peltast Fest, and you got to come willing to take a javelin to the spine. That's just kind of the nature of such a festival. We do have the Pergamene Noble Cavalry coming back here to run off the Epirote Cavalry, and it's going to succeed in doing so, though that Pergamene Noble will want to stay close to the infantry if possible. A lot of danger here if Pergamon did decide, or sorry, if Epirus decided to charge, but that charge would likely be fairly suicidal, even if they did catch the Pergamenes on the march, because as soon as those Pick Peltast and Agema Spear open fire, cavalry units are going to melt like butter in a hot skillet. It is not going to take long. These Illyrian levies just went ahead and jumped into combat. Boy, those guys, yikes, man. They got a fair number of kills against that militia hoplite. Now, they are armor piercing. That is definitely a decent number of kills for those Illyrian levies. More than I would have expected for such a unit. Epirus is shifting positions, which is then causing Pergamon to shift. So they're maybe trying to catch each other off guard here. Pergamon's troops are kind of turned with their column facing the Epirote army here. Let's see what happens. I mean, Cretan archers are about to start laying down some fire. These Galatian swords get caught out here. The Thessalian cavalry, the Pick Peltast immediately dropping a javelin volley into that Thessalian cavalry, and that's what I was talking there about melting. The Agema Spears and the Pick Peltast destroy the Thessalian cavalry. But that Royal Peltast goes ahead and doesn't stop to throw javelins. It just closes the distance. It's going to crush that Agema Spear and melee. But this is risky because these Peltasts can start to put some support fire over here pretty quickly. Let's watch this Pick Peltast. Definitely want to get rid of that cavalry. It did get a javelin volley there and weakened them up significantly. And there's the Pergamene Noble to protect the Picked Peltast. Whew. Man, the rain of javelins is going to be intense. And Epirus is definitely feeling it at the moment. Yep, that Royal Peltast is now getting some very unwanted attention, though the Pergamene Noble Cavalry in the vicinity is going to want to pull out of there because the number of javelins coming in is going to get very dangerous. Yeah, that Royal Peltast General is getting absolutely shellacked now by the Picked Peltast. So if the Pergamenes can kind of hold the line long enough and use their javelins to melt through cavalry, they'll be in pretty decent shape. Could be some worry at the end having to deal with all these archers, but we'll kind of see what happens there as time goes along. Time will tell on that one. Comes another charge at the Picked Peltast. A lot of javelins flying in. That Thessalian cavalry had come in relatively clean. It's supported by a Samnite warrior too. I see an Agema Spear headed to the vicinity. That Noble Cavalry is pretty badly needed over here. It should be free soon. Some of these Picked Peltasts get caught in melee, but the others should be able to flee away, kind of. This one's going to get hit. That's going to be a little bit brutal. Yeah, that Picked Peltast, whatever dies there is going to take its ammunition with it. But look at this, kind of an opening here. The Thessalian cavalry is going to have to intercept the Pergamene Noble. It is deteriorated, and there's Agrionians. That's probably the end of the Pergamene General. There was an all-out charge here for the Epirot skirmishers, and I don't think it's going to find its way home. Oof. That's rough. Pergamene cavalry just ate it. Yeah, that was rough. I definitely see what Pergamon was going for there, but it didn't materialize quick enough or painful enough, and so Epirus just made them pay a very dear price there. That Royal Peltast general, speaking of paying a dear price, they got shredded by the Pict Peltast, but the Pict Peltast now is starting to be overcome by some cavalry, but I don't see too much cavalry left. That Thessalian cavalry there is going to make a charge into a Pict Peltast. How's it wavering? That Pict Peltast better retreat. It would be pain. Oh, it's shattered. That's rough for Pergamon. That's rough, because that Pict Peltast had a fair bit of ammunition left. This one's going to charge forward. I'm assuming they may have already thrown their javelins, and then they're going to come hold the line while the other one throws its javelins. I don't think Pergamon can find their way out of this one, especially not with that cavalry still roaming. There's 22 of them. Yeah, these guys are swords out, so feasibly that means there's no more javelins on those Pict Peltasts, so I think Epirus is going to take home a double win here, a double header win. But boy, that was an amazing amount of javelins on both sides. The Pict Peltast they're very expensive. They're kind of a high-risk, high-reward unit. But my gosh, when they do hit, they slap. Because they have that 41 damage and 10 volleys. They'll cause tremendous amounts of damage if you can't deal with them. Epirus here was able to do so in a nice combination of infantry, missiles, and cav. And what I would say was a fairly well-balanced Epirot army there between heavy and light infantry, skirmishers, and missiles. And then, of course, Pergamon had to go kind of heavy in one direction because that's just what Pergamon has to do. They don't have a ton of good options. So they went heavy on the javelin side of things, which certainly can pay off in the right situations. So that one was actually Sol and Hotel Soap here. So it's good to see the two of them going at it here in Rome 2. I appreciate both of these players a tremendous amount because it is because of them we've had so many replays and that I've gotten a chance to get back into Rome 2. So I definitely appreciate the two of them. They are fantastic, and I appreciate how much that they love the game and how it's kind of contagious as they share it with us. So again, appreciate them. Thanks to both players. I'll see you all soon with some more action in Total War Rome 2.